The film opens with Charlie Matta returning from a trip with his son, Anatoly. Near the city, Anatoly spots a street performer and asks to stop. Charlie smiles and lets him run ahead while he looks for parking. Suddenly, masked men ambush Charlie, unleashing a brutal gunfire attack. Miraculously, Charlie survives the gunfire. As he drifts in and out of consciousness, memories return, especially a warning from the Mafia boss. Old-timer in prison, once in crime, there's no escape. Now Charlie is rushed to the hospital where surgeons remove 22 bullets from his battered body. We then meet Tony Zacchia, a ruthless and cunning figure whose sharp look matches his nature. Hearing of Charlie's attack, Tony's cold reaction suggests he might have hired the assassins. The shooting shocks the nation, making headlines everywhere. News anchors reveal Charlie was a retired Mafia kingpin, adding tension and deepening the mystery around the attack. Police Captain Marie Goldman takes charge, leading the investigation at the crime scene. Meanwhile, as Charlie fights for his life, memories flood back, especially learning of his mentor Old-Timer's brutal murder by a rival. Fueled by grief and revenge, Charlie teams up with Tony Zacchia and Karim to plan retaliation against Hernandez, the gangster they believe responsible. Fueled by rage and vengeance, the young men forged a brotherhood and took down Hernandez, sealing their fate in the Mafia world. Now, Police Captain Marie Goldman faces pressure from superiors to drop the case, dismissed as gang violence. But Marie stands firm, determined to uncover the truth and seek justice. Undeterred, Marie pressed on, determined to find the mastermind behind the attack. She visited Charlie in the hospital, but he stayed silent despite her questions, deepening the mystery. Frustrated, Marie left just as Charlie's lawyer Martin arrived with Karim and Pat, their faces showing concern and resolve. That night, as Marie tucked in her son, a sudden call shattered the silence, reopening painful memories of her husband's death. She spent the evening alone, drowning in grief. Meanwhile, Karim, fueled by anger and loyalty to Charlie, vowed to find and confront the attacker at any cost. Martin urged Karim to stay calm and wait for Charlie to wake before acting. Karim warned Martin to stay vigilant and never leave Charlie alone. Meanwhile, a man disguised as hospital staff crept through the corridors, kicked open Charlie's door, and fired a deadly barrage at him. Gunfire echoed through the hospital, drawing staff to find a lifeless body, surprisingly, not Charlie. Captain Marie had anticipated the threat and moved him to a secure room. She increased security and set up surveillance. When Tony Zacchia arrived claiming to visit Charlie, his presence deepened the suspicion. Tony showed relief seeing Charlie alive, handed over a card and left, warning about surveillance and police outside. Karim and Martin soon arrived, arranging Charlie's discharge and transport. Watching them, Marie sprang into action to tail their vehicle. Karim sensed they were followed and sped up, calling for backup. After losing Marie briefly, he led them to an abandoned warehouse. Inside, a terrified man tied to a chair trembled, while calm Charlie warned him that cooperation meant safety. The terrified man, trembling, denied involvement but dropped a bombshell. Tony Zacchia, once Charlie's closest ally, had ordered the hit. Tony resented Charlie for leaving the criminal life and handing over the drug empire. Driven by paranoia, Tony feared Charlie's return to challenge his power. The revelation stunned Charlie, who struggled to accept the betrayal of his most trusted friend. Karim pressed Charlie to kill Tony, but Charlie hesitated. Tony had been his closest friend, bound by shared vows and memories that made betrayal hard to face. Reluctantly, Karim backed down, and Martin drove Charlie home, where his family's warm embrace offered a brief respite. Meanwhile, late that night, Karim was ambushed by Tony's men lurking in the shadows. In an instant, Tony's men seized Karim, dragging him into the shadows. It was revealed that the warehouse captive had masterminded Charlie's kidnapping plot, attempting to win back Tony's favor only to be shot for his betrayal. As a brutal warning, the kidnappers severed one of Karim's fingers and sent it to his family. Charlie, lost in his routines, was shattered by the news of Kareem's death. At the funeral, he stood silent, watching Kareem's family mourn, the weight of loss crushing him. Grief soon ignited into fierce anger, sparking a burning thirst for revenge. Before executing his plan, Charlie instructed Pat to relocate his family to safety, shielding them from the coming chaos. Meanwhile, Tony's crew threw a loud celebration, mocking the brutal murder they'd just committed. But their victory was short-lived. Charlie had changed, becoming an unstoppable force ready to exact revenge. Unarmed, Charlie offered one final warning: say your goodbyes, because soon they'd all pay with their lives. Calm and cold, he singled out his shooter by the distinctive watch on his wrist and killed him without hesitation. Moving with deadly precision, Charlie left the others frozen in fear, untouched and unstoppable. The next day, Tony's henchmen visited the graves to light incense, but was abruptly killed by Charlie, who emerged from the shadows without hesitation. Enraged, Tony ordered a raid on Charlie's home, but found nothing. Meanwhile, unaware of the danger, Charlie enjoyed a peaceful moment with his loyal cat in a quiet city corner. Moments later, Martin, Charlie's lawyer, arrived, stunned by the chaos inside. Unaware that Tony's men had tracked Charlie's location, Martin tried to reach him as they soon found themselves surrounded. With steely resolve, Charlie faced the attackers fearlessly, while Martin desperately fled toward a boat in a final attempt to escape. One of Tony's henchmen trapped Martin with no way out. Meanwhile, Charlie tried to escape on a motorcycle, but Tony's men closed in fast. His flight ended when he crashed into a police car and was quickly arrested, bringing him face to face with Captain Marie Goldman once more. In the interrogation room, Marie revealed a crucial discovery. Bullets lodged in the crime scene walls suggested one of the 5 gunmen hadn't aimed to kill Charlie, raising doubts about the case. Convinced Tony Zacchia was behind her husband's death, Marie chose not to arrest Charlie right away. That night, as Tony Zacchia celebrated his daughter's wedding, unaware of the looming threat, Charlie waited in the shadows. He seized one of Tony's henchmen at gunpoint, demanding details about Tony's drug operations, determined to uncover and expose the truth. Furious at the news, Tony stormed out of the wedding and headed straight to his drug lab, his rage boiling over. Without pause, he ordered his men to hunt down Charlie dead or alive. The next morning, Pat arrived to pick up Charlie's kids, Anatoly and Eva, from school. What began as a routine day quickly turned into a nightmare when a truck screeched to a stop beside them. In seconds, men jumped out, snatched the children, and sped away. When Marie arrived, she instantly grasped the severity of the situation. Police later recovered Eva and brought her to the station, but Anatoly remained missing. Bruised and shaken, Eva broke down in tears, revealing a chilling truth. Anatoly would be killed unless Charlie turned himself in. As Captain Marie left the station, Charlie suddenly appeared in her car, desperate. He pleaded for her help to stage a fake news report, announcing his capture, his last hope to trick Tony into releasing his son. Desperate to save his son, Charlie vowed to surrender if Anatoly was safely returned, and Marie reluctantly agreed to help. But when Tony heard of Charlie's fake capture, he flew into a rage and ordered Anatoly's execution, believing the boy was no longer useful. Unbeknownst to them, Charlie was already tailing the hitman on a motorcycle, racing against time to save his son. Inside the house, a henchman stood watch over Anatoly, awaiting the kill order. But when it came, he hesitated, then chose to defy it, setting the boy free. Outside, Charlie was caught in barbed wire, struggling to break loose. As the thug tried to force Anatoly into a car trunk, Charlie burst from hiding, unleashing a brutal attack. He took the man down and freed his son. When Charlie returned home, he assured his wife they were safe. Tony's crew was no longer a threat. The next day, Charlie confronted Tony at his home. Despite all that had happened, he offered peace, holding on to the bond they once shared. But Tony, consumed by his lust for power, rejected the gesture. To him, friendship meant nothing, only Charlie's death would satisfy him. Tony slammed Charlie to the ground, gun to his face, but the moment he let his guard down, Charlie struck back and overpowered him. Police stormed in just in time, arresting Tony for running a drug empire. It turned out Charlie had secretly worked with Captain Marie to gather the evidence that brought Tony down. Later, when questioned, police found nothing tying Charlie to the drug operation, and he was released. After leaving the station, Charlie had Martin drive him to the parking lot where he was shot. There, he realized Martin had fired the bullet into the wall. Furious, Charlie pulled a gun on him, but Martin confessed Tony had ordered the hit. He didn't know the target was Charlie until it was too late. Unable to follow through, he chose to miss. Charlie then revealed he'd fired at the wall too. A silent thank you for Martin's mercy. In the final scene, Charlie walks peacefully on the beach with his family, the sun setting behind them.